Oh, it is. Is this like?
Yeah. So this is a microphone.
Hello?
If you need it or not.
Y'all need this? Do you like this? Based on yeah? Okay, we got a thumbs up back there. All right, what's going on, everyone? Thanks for being here right now. I also want to give a shout out to the reason why I'm here, not just for the organizers setting this up, but also want to give a shout out to Diamondback. I've been in this oil and gas industry for about 19 years. I've worked with a lot of great people, a lot of great companies, and seldomly there's companies that stand out that are active, not just how they operate, being good stewards, but also what they do to the community and how they help the community. I actually had a podcast with the corporate affairs, Ashley Colquitt, with Diamondback, and the programs they're doing over there to give back to the community to help students as they launch their careers, and that's kind of why we're here today. Tonight, we're here to help you. This is all about you. This is an hour-long presentation that companies come in and give. I know that I don't know where even to hang this right now. I know there's companies come in and give hour-long presentations about their company. This is not that. This is for y'all. This is for you to increase your exposure. It's to help you launch your careers as you step out into the oil and gas or the energy industry. The good news is, well, first off, hi, I'm JP. I'm an Aggie as well. I graduated class of 2002, but graduated 2003. And then I saw a class of 2028, welcome class of 2028, and wow, that's really great to see at my age, which I don't feel that old. But anyway, I graduated in marketing, and I got my master's in France, and I came back, and I couldn't find a job. I didn't know anyone. I didn't know how to find a job, and I just didn't know the avenue or direction where to go to. So throughout my career, I started off at Noble Drilling. My first job was sorting mail as an HR temp, and then I got an HSC. Then I started operations. I started working offshore. I had no idea what I was doing working offshore. Then I went to Saudi Arabia for a year, got in sales. Flash forward a couple years later, I started my own company about 3 years ago. And the company was really to kind of help people connect. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Help people network, to get connected, to stay connected. Being connected in a volatile industry only helps create stability, all right? The oil and gas industry, whether you know it or not, is volatile, but there is ways to make it stable, and that's through connection. So started a company based off of connecting people. And then also, about a year and a half ago, I really got into leadership development. And this summer, I branched out with the help of Diamondback to Permian Resources. Some of y'all were actually in the room in Midland, where we held a kind of emerging energy professionals workshop. And we're going to kind of go over a little bit of that today. Real quick, do we just get done? Where are we at right now when it comes to internships, career fairs, and all that stuff? I just want to kind of get a gauge of the room. How many people had an internship last summer? Okay. So did everyone that wanted an internship get an internship? Raise your, yes, pretty much? Okay. So where are we at right now? Are we interviewing right now? We just get done with the career fair? And again, this is not a one-way conversation. It's not going to work that way. I need to hear from you. Obviously, we have Waterberg going right now. So where are we at? So we just had a career fair. Is that correct? Yep. All right. And are we interviewing now? Yep. Okay. So this was supposed to be originally 2 hours, but I'm going to condense this in an hour. And I'm going to kind of go over some things that I think is important, besides all of this being important. I'm going to go over the highlights of what I think is important. If there is, I ask you, please, if there's something that I'm going by, if there's something I'm talking about, or if you have a question about something, please stop me, bring it up, all right? Because it's only going to help not just you, but everyone in this classroom, okay? All right, so let's get started. The good part is about this industry, there is a need. This industry has a need for smart, bright, problem-solving, solution-driven people like yourself, from petroleum engineers. I may be partial, but the greatest petroleum engineering school in all the land, all right? So there's a need for y'all, okay? But also, the good part is there's a want. Y'all want to get jobs. Y'all want to have successful job interviews, right? However, sometimes in this world, the needs and wants sometimes don't overlap. That's what we're here to do today, to create hooks for your want so you grab onto some needs, okay? We're here to make your platform a little bit bigger, to give you more opportunity to get what you guys want, to get what this industry needs, okay? So that's kind of what we're here talking about today. I'm going to go through over some of the slides are filler slides. I'm going to kind of go over them real quickly. At the end of the day, the reality is this. Your success and how you grow your career is 100% y'all. A lot of times we wait for other people or something to happen for us to capitalize on situations. But if you're not helping yourself, at the end of the day, you're going to be behind, and that's all on you. So this is all about accountability right now. And what we're going to start off with is LinkedIn. How many people use LinkedIn right now?
Yes,
From the back?
I do.
All right, from the back. All right. How many people use LinkedIn regularly, like once a week? All right, let's keep the hands raised. Twice a week. Okay. 3 times a week? Every day. Okay, that's pretty normal right now. There's a kind of a handful of people that use it every day. There's people that use it sporadically. And I've noticed, I worked with some interns this summer, and once the internship ended and they started going back to school, they stopped using LinkedIn. LinkedIn is not just a social media website. It is such an important tool for everyone here in this room. Okay? Whether you believe in LinkedIn, whether you want to be, I don't like social media, okay? But I understand the power of social media and why we need it. All right? If you're not, and there's a lot of things here. I don't like people say, you got to do this, you need to do this, but just for me being up here, for time's sake, hear me out. I believe, and I challenge you out there, to start getting on LinkedIn more, to start connecting, communicating, engaging more with this industry. That's how we're going to create personal brand, which is pretty in short your reputation, okay, which is key in this industry. So let's kind of get this going. I'm kind of hopping everywhere because, again, we have an hour. I'm trying to, and look, y'all are engineers, and trust me, I love working with engineers. I've worked with engineers for 19 years of my life. I'm not an engineer. Y'all are the smartest cats in the room. However, there's a lot of opportunity for your career growth, trajectory, how you influence your team, how you impact your team in your soft skills. Does everyone know what soft skills are, by any chance? Show of hands. All right, what are soft skills? Anyone, shout it out.
Talking to people.
Talking to people, how you communicate, right? How you get your message across. Your ability to empathize with other people, your ability to lead people, to influence them, right? There's a lot of 4.0 students out there that get jobs and all that stuff. However, if they don't have the ability to communicate an idea to their team, whether it's to the management or whether it's their team around them, how effective are they going to be in their role? If they have a better idea to, whether it's to, I'm not going to get into detail, drill a well. If they have a new idea how to drill, if they can't communicate that idea effectively, concisely and effectively to their team and influence them, how beneficial do you think they're going to be? How beneficial do you think you'll be? So understanding how to communicate, the proper ways to communicate. I know it sounds like a soft skill. Oh, I'll just worry about that when I get there. That's never the case. It's a skill, which is the cool part. All right, just like playing, I'm sure I'm going to kind of relate. Playing pickleball or doing whatever, that's a skill set you didn't know how to do. Just like communicating, it's a skill set. If you practice it, you can master it. And it's just going to benefit you throughout your career. We're quickly going to go over LinkedIn presence, personal brand, building your network online and in person, building an elevator pitch, effective communication skills, and the do's and don'ts of just kind of a list that I put together in this industry. All right, of how to navigate the first few years of the industry, okay? So LinkedIn. I'm going to kind of highlight a couple points and I want to move on because we all know what LinkedIn is. We understand the importance of having a clear picture, all right? Building out your LinkedIn profile. This is your living resume, okay? So people often, it's like dating these days. People will check this out if they hear your name. And if you're not connected, so for example, how many people connected with who they worked with this summer on their internships at the companies? Yeah? Yeah? All right, good. So I advise people, always just connect with people. Whether you know them or not, send a request. Try to connect with them. That's why you need to make sure that your profile is looking clean, looking sharp, up to date. And I didn't realize this, but on the way up here, I heard a podcast about this little, see that connector coach create this little line right there, the second line right there? I got to redo that. So apparently, if I were in y'all's shoes, it's Texas A&M student aspiring to be a drilling engineer, aspiring to be a completions engineer. So put your aspiration in there. Try to match up the keywords there, okay? For the algorithm to make you searchable, put your aspirations up there, all right? I guess in short, obviously, there's YouTubes, there's different things to figure out how to build out your experience, just like doing a resume. This isn't a resume workshop, this isn't a LinkedIn workshop, but it's easy to find this stuff out there, okay? But I encourage you, have a picture that's up to date, have it clear, all right? Be positive whenever you are engaging on LinkedIn, all right? Don't criticize. It's not Facebook. Don't get in one of those battles. You want to be positive. You want to be supportive. You want to offer knowledge and experience. So make sure your profile is up to date and start connecting and start engaging with people.
And if there's any doubt, we do look at your LinkedIn profile.
I love it. I would love, on every conversation I have, if you're just validating me on every single thing, I would appreciate that.
We do a little, we do a little check and see.
You do check, and if they check, what do they check for? They check to see how your engagement is. I'm sure you check to see how you're talking online, who you're connected with. If you did an internship at Diamondback and you're not connected to anyone, how impactful was your experience there? Did you really walk the halls, make connections, make relationships? Because at the end of the day, drilling wells, our industry's been doing this for a long time. It's how we connect and how we influence and how we drive teams and build teams. That's what's going to separate y'all from everyone else, okay? So, why do we use LinkedIn? I don't need to go through this because short on time. Obviously, you get to network. You get to learn about the industry. You get to connect with people, find out what's going on with people. So, and also you get to showcase your experience and your background, all right? Again, I think there's other important stuff to get to, but connection requests, if you are sending someone a note, please make it personal. Don't make a mass. I get messages to me about if people want me to buy cranes and just make sure you understand who you're talking. I know. Make sure you know who you're talking to. Okay, customize it. Make it personal. I talked to a gentleman today who did an internship up in Oklahoma, and that company wasn't offering any jobs. They didn't know that. They weren't offering any jobs. Oh, JP, do you know anyone that's hiring? You know anyone that's hiring? Hey, man, I'm in Houston. I'm about to go to Texas A&M. This is what you can do. So we went through steps what he can do on LinkedIn, sitting in his place, because I think he goes to Missouri. Sitting in Missouri, just like y'all could be in here, College Station, how he can get involved in LinkedIn. That's start making requests to people, whether it's to drilling engineer, what he wants to aspire to be. And don't ask for something. You know, don't hit someone with a sell. Hey, can you give me a job or anything like that? Utilize networking and LinkedIn to learn from somebody. Hey, how did you get in your position? I'd love to buy you a coffee. I'm a student. I'd love 10 minutes of your time to talk to you on the phone. How did you get to your position? What advice do you have for me about to start off in this industry in this crazy time we're in right now? So again, when you're reaching out to people, don't ask for a job. I mean, it's obvious, it's obvious that, right? It's obvious if you're reaching out, there's obviously some sort of job hunting in that, but if you can find a way to learn from someone, to ask them questions, to get their engagement. And listen, if they don't respond, that's fine. Keep persisting, okay? So the first thing I said was make sure your LinkedIn's up to date. Second thing is start connecting with people. Start talking to people. Try to understand how they got to where they're at. Learn from them. And it's obvious if you kind of understand the conversation, you're having a cup of coffee with someone, a student, it's obvious they're probably looking for a job and they're going to help you out. So be organic, be authentic, okay? Engagement. A lot of people are very timid to start putting content out there. That's okay. If you're scrolling and you see something that's interesting or you see something that kind of is thought-provoking, comment on that, engage with that. Start getting involved with the community because there's a lot of people, whether they're active or not in this industry, they're all on LinkedIn and they're looking. So there's groups. I utilize LinkedIn to follow up, to check on people, to ping people. So again, this is online networking. I'd rather get to the good stuff. Does everyone understand personal branding? Raise your hand if you don't understand personal branding and what that is and why it's important. All right. No one raised their hand, so we're going to dive into it. Oh, we got one. I'll take that. Okay. All right. Your personal brand, and I don't even like using this term personal brand because it sounds so cliche, like influencer, what's your brand? But another word for this is what's your reputation, right? How do you handle yourself? And a lot of times, because it's a hyper-connected world we live in, but we're very disconnected, people look at your personal brand, your reputation, on how you interact on LinkedIn. All right, what do you contribute on LinkedIn? Did you have a great internship? What can you share about that? I was training some interns this summer. I said, hey, I challenge y'all to do 3 posts a week. Talk about what you learned on the job and all that. They're like, oh, I'm going to save this for the end of the summer. So you're going to make 1 post at the end of the summer? How is that going to increase your connections? How is that going to help your personal brand? How is that going to allow you to get more exposure to these companies that are hiring? So started working with them, and they would start posting throughout the week, and they'd start engaging. They would double and even triple their connections. They would start. Actually, one girl secured an internship before her last internship was over through her LinkedIn presence, through branding herself, and through engaging with people. So again, this may seem like, I'll worry about that once I graduate, or I'll build those networks, this summer. Don't. Start now. That couldn't be more important. Start building your networks now. All right? And it's fun. The oil field is full of great people. That's the best part. That's why I love this industry. Yeah, the energy, that's cool. But the people, that's what makes me stick around. I dig it. So if you're thinking about what type of content to put out there on your LinkedIn, or it's like, obviously it's not going to be what's on your Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram accounts. This is a very different persona, all right? So is it valuable? What have you learned that you could tell someone else, tell one other person that influenced them? A lot of times we're thinking, I got this post. I'm going to make this so everyone sees it. I get 1,000 people to watch it. If you can impact one person and help one person, that's where it matters, all right? You start putting stuff like that out, that's going to be valuable. People are going to start understanding who you are, what you care about, what your knowledge is. Don't worry about appeasing everyone. Try to help one person, okay? Experience. Did you have a cool experience in your internships this summer? What did you learn? Was it teamwork? Was it the operations that excited you? Was it working in the field? What did you learn? What could you share with others out there where someone kind of takes something away from? I think vulnerability is another great piece of this industry we're in. This industry is a very hard industry, you know what I mean? But it's not. We're all people. We're all human beings. We all deal with very similar challenges, okay? If you can be vulnerable about not knowing, and honestly, the longer I've been in this industry, the more I realize the less I know about this industry. So if you can be vulnerable about either challenges you're faced with, stuff you're dealing with, stuff you're trying to learn, whatever it is, it's okay. Be vulnerable. Share that vulnerability. I found that I would connect with most people whenever I was being vulnerable, whenever I was going through a difficult part of my life. You start, and that just creates those genuine bonds, those real connections. That's not surface. That's not transactional. So where you can be vulnerable, what's your experience, and what could you share? All right? I don't think we need to go into this. All right, let's do this. Let's talk about networking now. We got LinkedIn down. That's a tool that we're going to all use, right? Moving forward, starting today, right? We're going to start getting more active on LinkedIn. Can we all agree to that? Yes? 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 All right, good. All right, so now we're going to talk about utilizing LinkedIn to grow your network, and also growing your network in person and public settings, which is kind of sometimes very anxiety-ridden to walk into a room full of strangers, especially like professionals and operators, and have to talk to them and converse with them. We're going to talk about how to do that, okay, and how to build it, all right? Often likes using this analogy about your network. Your network's like an insurance tree. The best time to plant it was yesterday. The second best time is today. I host these E&P operator networking events, and a lot of times I'll extend the invites to colleagues that I've known that have gone up through rise the ranks. I'm talking VP at Marathon, Conoco, all these places. Hey, come to this event. Oh man, I'm good. I got this. I'll do that when I get more time. Okay. What happens when Marathon's bought? What happens when these companies are acquired and suddenly they need a network, right? So you got people contacting me saying, hey, I got time now. I should probably start building my network now. That's great. But in that entire year that you did not show up and you did not network with people, there's a lot of other companies that were acquired, and there's a lot of other competition out there in the market. They could do your job probably just as good or better for cheaper, right? So if you're not building your networks today, don't wait for when you need it. It's like planting a garden, right? You don't plant a garden when you're starving. You plant the garden when you have the time, energy, and the resources, all right? And a lot of people will echo this, how important networking is, but this is the key to not just starting your career. Obviously, a lot of people get internships because who they know and all that stuff, but think about this throughout your career. What happens you get a couple years of experience and you want to start your own company, your own private equity-backed company, right? Well, you're not going to know anyone. You're not going to know where to find the deals. You're not going to know how to source the capital because you don't have a network. Your networks will help you throughout your career, every stage of your career, whether it's new technology you need to learn about, whether it's opportunities on the horizon, sourcing capital, building a team, whatever it is. Your networks matter. And that's not done through corresponding with people. That's done through communicating with people, all right? We've gotten really good at corresponding. Text, email. We hate picking up the phone. Someone calls us like, what the hell is this guy calling me for? That always happens. There is so much magic, though, in picking up the phone and calling people. Hey, perfect example right here, Diamondback. I was going back and forth to Diamondback this summer about this summer workshop that I had going on. Back and forth, back and forth. Finally, they picked up the phone, they called. They said, what's going on? Let's talk about this. From that conversation, it just grew into something more beautiful than what it originally was. More productive, more impactful. And that wasn't going back and forth in email. That was picking up the phone and calling, all right? So build your networks authentically. Again, hyper-connected world, I believe this. I think we're hyper-connected and we're really good at corresponding. Oh, we're all connected. I'm connected to you on LinkedIn, I'm connected to you on LinkedIn, I'm connected to all y'all on LinkedIn. But at the end of the day, how connected are we? Can someone pick up the phone and call someone and say, hey, I got this going on. What do I do about this? So build those connections on a genuine level, all right? And if there's anything that I'm going over here that you'd like me to stop and kind of put a pin in and talk about, or there's any questions, maybe something you're experiencing in your personal lives right now about finding or professional lives, let me know. Ask me, all right? Like this is for you, all right? This isn't for me to talk. I've talked about it. I've rehearsed this enough times. So if there's something y'all want to share, let me know, okay? This graph is not taken from any facts or data, okay? I just made this up because I thought it looks nice. This kind of portrays kind of a concept. I think when we all start our careers, it definitely matters our technical knowledge. It matters what we know. It matters our grades, it matters our GPA, what associates. That stuff matters. What clubs we're associated with, what we, how many check-ins we have at these GM, whatever it is. There comes a time in everyone's career, though, that it's going to matter more who you know than what you know, okay? Your network is your net worth, whatever that is, all right? I noticed this in my career probably about 5-6 years in. It's probably on a different path for y'all as engineers. But there is a time where you could be the best person drilling the well or the best person fracking the well, but at the end of the day, that's not going to level you up, all right? You're not going to ever get past your limits if you're just sitting in your own cubicle in your own buckets. It's who you know, all right? So always try to connect with people. Connect with people who inspire you, mentors, people that you look up to. So if we're talking about building networks, I try to cut it up. I mean, we can go to a lot of networking events out there, and I actually encourage you to attend some networking events out there. A couple years ago, there was a gentleman. Was anyone here what Dean Murphy was? Yeah. Right. Amazing. I've reached out to this guy. I think it was during COVID, and he had a strong LinkedIn presence. He came on a podcast, and then I just saw him doing these LinkedIn. He was going to these networking events, and he was posting, and he was talking about it. In a time when there were no jobs, he secured a job at a pretty damn good company, all right? And now he's actually moving on to do other things because of his LinkedIn presence, him being active, him getting uncomfortable and networking with people, all right? And I know we're in school, I know we're in College Station now, but these tailgates that are having, these shop tours, go meet, ask questions, have a couple questions. Listen, and at the end of the day, our industry wants to answer your questions. We want to be bugged with, hey, how do you do this? What's this all about? We want to be bothered. I can't, can anyone echo this, that we want to share knowledge with people out there. So if you are doing these shop tours, ask questions, bug people, 100%, bug them, all right? So who should you want to be around, who do you need to be around, and who should you be around? Who should you be around? Probably other students, probably other engineers that you worked with this summer. Who do you need to be around? Probably recruiters, probably people in HR. And who do you want to be around? People that inspire you. I can't stress this enough. Find people in your careers that will take time for you. Find people in your first jobs, within the first 3 months, that inspire you. Listen to them, talk to them, ask them questions. Whether it's the attitude they have or just something about them. Those are the people that will elevate you and bring you up. All right? They'll take time and talk to you. So when you are planning out who are you going to go meet, think about this. Who should I be around? Who do I need to be around? And who do I want to be around? Okay? And just start building it from there. Start building it slowly. Okay? Now I'm going to talk about when you actually, let's say you do register for an event in Houston at the Petroleum Club, let's say. Or let's say it's an event somewhere else, and there's going to be a lot of people there, and that you don't know. I'm going to talk about kind of how to walk in the room right now, and how to start building your connections, how to start networking, all right? First off, how many people have kind of gone to networking events outside of College Station, like at Houston, Midland, or Dallas, or OK, wherever? Raise your hands if you have. Okay, raise your hands if you have not. Okay, let me ask you a question for those that haven't. How does it make you feel going to one of the, like, if there was an event, how would that make you feel going to an event full of strangers, operators, professionals?
You just don't know what to say.
Yeah, pretty uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're walking in a room with all these cats. You have no idea how you should present yourself, what to talk about. Do I ask? Like, it's uncomfortable. Networking events are uncomfortable if you view them as just as that. But here's the deal. We're going to kind of go through on how to walk into a room, a networking event room, what to expect, how to get the contact information, and how to break apart. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be stuck talking to the same person for an hour and a half when there's a whole room full of people you can be talking to. First off, my advice, this is one of those life lessons that I teach my daughter, I want to teach y'all. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. That is the key to your growth. Take jobs, take opportunities, take things that might make you feel uncomfortable. Walk into a room, sit at a table that you don't belong at if you're uncomfortable. Lean into that, okay? You walk in a room full of all these people. The best way to do it is literally, if there's a group of people, it's literally just going up and introducing yourself. Ask them about their job. Ask them about, hey, so what line of work you in? How long you been doing that? Open-ended questions. Ask about them. Once they're talking about themselves, they're gonna walk away like, wow, that's a great conversation with this guy. He really likes me. It's because people like talking about themselves. Ask about them, all right? Ask open-ended questions. And we're gonna get an active listen in a little bit, but I might cross over past now. But when you're talking to someone, and this is not just feedback that I've gotten back from people, from different leaders or people that I deal with and all that stuff, when you're talking to people, please act interested, all right? Act interested, make eye contact, put your phone away. And it's okay to smile and show facial expressions. A lot of times, we walk into rooms and we're so nervous about what to expect. We're so stoic, like, okay, I'm all business. Nice to meet you, I'm JP, I'm a senior. We're all human, okay? Please, people feed off of good energy, all right? Be yourselves. I know we all gotta be serious, professional setting all this stuff, but at the same time, the oil and gas industry is full of characters, all right? We wanna meet other characters. So be comfortable being uncomfortable. Show interest when you're talking to someone. Ask open-ended questions. Let them do all the talking, all right? That way you're not having to think. When you are engaged in a conversation with someone, let's say it's someone from Diamondback, all right? And you do want to work at Diamondback. Have 2 or 3 questions in your back pocket ready to fire, all right? It's very awkward being in a room, being in a situation when there is the CEO of the room. This happened this summer when there is the CEO of the room and he's talking to a group of interns. He's like, all right, any questions? And it's about this quiet. No one had any questions. No one thought of any questions. And still, it's just sat silent. No one even popped up with a question. Have a couple questions ready, all right? Be engaged. Be curious. Whenever you do get someone's contact information, the card and all that stuff, thank them for it, and then try to wrap up your conversation. It's okay to say, hey, thanks, really appreciate this. I'm gonna get another drink, or I'm gonna go use the restroom, or I'm gonna make some more introductions. They understand you're there to meet people, and it's okay to end the conversation early, all right? The last thing you wanna do, again, is get stuck with a financial planner for an hour and a half, and you can't shake them. That's happened, all right? So that's not what you want, okay? Be strategic. Find out who's going to this, if you can. Who's going to be at this event? And honestly, if it's one of those things, let's say you're uncomfortable going solo, team up. Hey, let's go to this together. Y'all go together. Go buddy up. Go with an accountability buddy. Go with someone. That way, it kind of lets the nerves off a little bit. It's more comfortable, okay? But remember, just going up to someone, and you can do 3 things at these events. Number 1, you can be a wallflower, which you don't do anything. You just kind of walk in the room, just kind of sit there. Okay, I was here. I got credit for it. You can go with a buddy and just talk to your buddy, talk to your pal the whole time. I mean, you're there. Or you can be uncomfortable and talk to people. Introduce yourselves, because that's what it's all about, okay? I encourage you to be uncomfortable and introduce yourselves. Now, the key is, when you're networking, be yourself, okay. The key is when you're networking, you're gonna walk home with a stack of cards, probably this thick. Some are gonna be important, some are not gonna be important, but you're gonna walk home with a stack of cards this thick. Most of the time, if you've been in the oil and gas industry for about 5-6 years, they're gonna collect dust on your cabinet, okay? Don't do that. Try to follow up, try to put them in the buckets that they belong in, who should, who you need, who you want to, and then follow up. Hey, it was great talking to you, I really enjoyed that. Doesn't have to be a lot, just follow up with them, all right? That way they remember it, it sticks with them. The more you talk to someone, the more you regularly engage with them, the more that builds your personal reputation, your personal brand, and the more they remember you, okay? So even if it's an article of interest, let's say they talked about, Trimulfrac, okay? Or let's say they talked about, the new automated rig. If you find an article or a podcast or something like that, that's a great way to follow up. Hey, great talking to you, Jeff. Just thought to follow up from our automated rig fleet conversation, I saw this, check it out. So again, you're establishing value, you're being yourself, and you're making that connection.
Hey JP, I'm going to interrupt real quick. So I'm sure you guys know we're actually in the wrong room. We were originally scheduled for 101. Here's the thing though, we are able to extend this conversation. We actually just got the room on 910 on the 9th floor. So we can start heading up there. That's what the food was, moving to the 9th floor.
Let's go.
And we have that reserved for as long as we need it because we don't want to cut this great presentation short. There's a lot of great info in it.
I feel like you're just saying that.
What I'm going to ask
That's
is
sweet,
that
though.
everyone just make sure you grab your stuff. If you see any garbage, throw it out and just start heading up there. I appreciate